here, HANA Security. So why we need security, right? So application level, okay, fine. Why the database level also security? Actually, the main data stores the database level only. So why the security is important for the databases, right? So security is protecting the important data, financial data, sales data, whatever the data stores in the database level, right? From the unauthorized access, right? So to protect the data from unauthorized access, right? Suppose if you don't have these restrictions, everybody can access your company data, your sales data, your finance data. They can store your data, right? So they can store your data, and we will not meet the company policies and security standards adopted by our company. So security, especially for the DB, security is important here. Why? Because our application level we have the security, then why it is required for the DB also? Yes, DB also is required. If you don't have the security at database level, so anybody can log into the database level, they can do some changes about our data and everything. Why? Because all our finance data, our banking data, credits data, master data, whatever it may be, everything stores in the database level only. So DB is very important. Database is very important for the, so, but we have to protect. We have to protect the data. So every database or every application, everything, there are own security standards, their own security mechanisms here. So own security features are available here, right? So same HANA also providing the some of the security related features here for the users, for the customers. HANA also we have the some security related features are there here, security related features here. So what are those security related features in HANA data, which is HANA is providing, which means SAP is providing to the customers, right? Why? Because HANA database is delivered by, is supporting by SAP, right? It's released by SAP only, developed by SAP only. So, but they have provided some of the security standards. So what are those security standards here? Security related features here, right? So user and the role management related options we have in the security role management. So if you have the user, you can connect to the database, but you should require the role as well to perform the required actions. You have the role also you required. Suppose if you see here, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Someone ping me like they are unable to hear my voice. Maybe we can just log out and log in back. You can able to hear my voice. Okay. So user management. The second one is the authorization related features, and the third one is the authentication features here. This is also authentication. So authentication related features here. Then they are the encryption of the encryption of the persistency layer here. Persistency layer here. Encryption of persistency layer, and also the encryption of so network layer, encryption of network layer also here. These are the some of the security. These are the following security related features SAP is providing in the HANA. SAP is providing to customers here, right? So here user and role management here. User, and the first one is the user and role management. So SAP, if you want to log into the HANA database level, you need a user and passwords, and respective roles are required to perform the respective authorization. You require the roles required. Roles and authorizations are required here. You have the user, you can connect it. But if you want to access the tabs, something like that, you need the authorization. You have to have the authorization, and respective roles are required here, right? Respective roles are required here. So in the HANA tenant databases or system DB, you can go to the security folder. Under the security folder, you have the users tab, and there the roles tabs also available here. Users and the roles tabs are available here, right? Users and roles tabs are available here. By default, everyone we are connecting to the system user. Everybody we are connecting to the system user, which means system user, using the system user, we are doing all the operations. You have the wider access, but you are also accessing the development related features. Why? Because we are not the developer. But if the developer also has access to the system user, then he can do whatever he want. We have to restrict this kind of things. We have to protect the data only based upon the role, basis team, basis related activities, security related activities, developer related activities. They have to perform based upon the activity. The users has to perform respective authorizations here, right? So here we have the, in the security, right click on the users, click on the new user. For creation of the users, what we have to do, right click on the users tab and click on the new user. Then it will open the one form will be opened here. So here you see, here you can see the, so username. So username you can provide it here. Suppose like basis user, I am providing the basis user I am creating here, right? Basis user I am creating here. Then user and authentication features. Then authentication, user and role management and authentication. Authentication means, so they are the types of authentication. Database user, hidden authentication means the user who is accessing the HANA database, how is verified through the authentication. Which authentication methods? Either password, through password he has to be authenticated, or SAML2 configuration SSO, or logon ticket configurations, Kerberos and X.509 certificates, or SAP assertion ticket here. These are the authentication methods are there here. Authentication methods. If you want to authenticate this user by password, then you can enter the password. Normally, everybody will use the same password here. Authentication passwords, right? Authentication passwords, we will use it here. So no user wants to without password means SAML. There is a configuration is required. Logon ticket certificates, logon tickets are required. There is a separate mechanism, but commonly everybody will use the database level, right? So only we as a basis team or admin team or development teams will get the access to the database. Why? Because why business users is required access to the database level. So business users, they don't require access to the database. Why? Because they will only use the application. They will only use the developed application. They will use it to complete their work, to complete their transactions and everything here. So developer users, they will use it here, authentication mechanism here, right? So here authentication. So these are the authentication methods SAP is providing, either password, SAML2 mechanisms. Then you have to configure the SAML, means identity providers, all those things here. Now SAP logon tickets we have to create it here. So what method you want to use it here? That methods. So we have to select it here. The most common people will use the, so authentication features. These are the authentication features are available here. Then authorizations here. Authorizations. So once you set the user ID and password, okay, you have set the user ID password, that is fine. Then the user is created. I can able to access all the data, right? You are assuming like you are able to access the all the data here, right? So let's see what will happen here. You created the user password, also you done the reset. Now if you are trying to access some data, it will not allow. Why? Because you don't have the respective privileges, means respective authorizations or respective roles. You don't have that one here. You don't have that type of data here, right? So here users also, the user and the role management. So in the, to access the database, user is required. Definitely user is required here. Depends upon the different security policies. There are the two types of user in SAP HANA. There are the two types of users are there in SAP HANA here. One is the DBA user, means technical user. Technical user means who directly work in the HANA database with necessary privileges. Normally, so these users don't get deleted from the database. Technical users means system users. System users here. System users, we administration tasks perform it. System user. So there are the two types of users here. Types of users here. Two types of users in HANA. One is the technical user. Technical user, and the second one is the real user. Real means we are the real users here. So we, each user who wants to work in the HANA database need a database user, database real person who wants to work in the database means humans. Humans here, standard users. We are the real users means standard users here. We are the humans. Technical user means system user. During the installation system, sys, like sys repo. They are the some sys repo. They are the some system users are there. Internal users, technical users. Those are the system users. They won't get deleted from the system. Those are the DBA user, technical users here. Real user means we are the real users here. Means user can create the objects, data, deletion, security, whatever privileges, all those things. We are the real users here. So they are the two types of users you are creating here, right? You created the user now. Now you created the user, just to add the system with the different user. So which means basis user. You are just setting the password here. It is asking the reset the password, then setting the new password. So new password has been set, and you have added the data, you have added the system as well. So with the basis user, you added the system. Now, if you are trying to access something here, so you will not able to access. Why? Because only user and the password is created. Means you are able to connect to the database, but you are not the authorized person. You are not the authorized person to access the data from database level. You are not the authorized person to access the data from the database level here. So why? Because you are not the authorized one. So means you need to have the privileges here. You need to have the privileges here. That's what we have to do it in the system here. So which means authorizations concept. You are able to authenticate it from user ID and password, but you need the authorization. Authorizations are required here. Authorizations are required here. The authorizations are required when user using the some client interfaces or HTTP something, when you want to access some data from the system, when you want to perform some operations from the system, he required some authorizations. That is called the privileges. He required the some authorizations required here. Authorizations are required here. Authorizations are required here, right? Authorizations are required here. So these authorizations we have to assign to the user directly, so that either via directly we can assign to the user, or via role also we can assign to the user, so that suppose like you created a one user here, he is the user, right? So in the database we have the role and authorization concept is there here, right? So role, what type of role, what type of user you are creating here? Basis user, developer user. Based on that, you will create the role. In the role, you will assign the authorizations here. Authorizations are privileges here. So what will happen? You can directly assign the authorizations to the user, or via role also you can assign to the user. Via role also you can assign to the user here. If you assign to the instead of assigning to the individual user, if you assign to the role, that who are assigned to this role, all users will get the similar access here. So that's the reason always role we have to create it. Then authorization we have to assign to the role, or directly to the user also we can assign it to the here. So when the user is trying to access some database object, some data from the system, then definitely it will perform the whether he is having required authorizations or not, it will check it out. that it will have the required authorizations are here. It will check it out here. See here, when you are opening the administrator console, it's saying that you cannot open the here. Why? Because you don't have the required authorization. Means authorizations equals to privileges, which means you are not the required authorized member to access the data from the database level, right? So that's the reason of this message here. You cannot open now. Why? Because you only user created. There are no roles are assigned here. So which means we have the privileges, right? What type of authorizations means what type of privileges, how many types of privileges we have in SAP system here. So we have there are the types of privileges are called the system privileges. System privileges here. We have the system privileges we have here, right? System privileges. Then the second one is called the then object privileges. Object privileges. The third one is called the analytical privileges here. Analytical. So analytical privileges here. The fourth one is called the then package privileges. Package privileges here. The fifth one is called the application privileges. Application. So privileges here. Application privileges. Then sixth one privilege on users here. These are the privileges are there in HANA databases here, which means suppose the user you are created, he wants to perform the, he wants to control the normal system activities. Then he wants to perform the normal system activities, then you can assign the system privileges, system related activities here. Suppose basis user wants to perform the some system privileges, means he wants to perform the agent admin related activities, backup related activities, catalog read. So there's a catalog, so schema related activities. You want to create the some data admin, some import, export, LDAP monitoring. Suppose he is a monitoring user, he is a monitor you admin, then monitor admin role we have to assign it here. He is a license admin, then he is a catalog read, he is a backup administrator. Then you can assign the respective role to the user and click on the deploy button. Automatically these roles are assigned to the users here. So these roles are assigned to the user. So now try to access now. What will happen? Let's see. Now you can able to access. Sir, why previously I faced the issue? Now why I am able to access means the required authorizations are assigned. System authorizations. Some privileges are assigned here. Privileges are assigned to the basis user here, which means basis user can do whatever the authorizations you assigned, you can perform the all the authorizations can perform it here. All the authorizations you can perform it in the systems here. So here authorizations are restricting. Authorizations are restricting here, right? That is the authorizations we have assigned here, right? So but only these activities, whatever we have activities here, catalog, read, backup, and monitoring, only he can do respective things. But suppose like if you want to do the alerts related, then see insufficient privileges means he is not authorized to use the alerts tab. He is not authorized to use the alerts tab means you need to assign the alerts admin related role, alert admin related roles we have to assign it here. Alert admin related roles we have to assign to the user, then only you can access that respective tab here. By default every user will not get the super privileges same as like system, right? So you need to assign the relevant authorizations we have to assign to the user, then only you can able to access the all the data, all the data here, right? So that's the reason of system privileges, right? Suppose you want is to perform the system level activities, you can assign the system privileges here. Object privileges means some SQL privileges, SQL statement privileges. you want to access the some data, some object, some table, some views, something schema at that time you can assign the object privileges, insert statement, select statement, delete, drop, alter. So whatever the things you can assign the object privileges, you can assign it here. Suppose you want to assign, suppose like for this user, they are not only using the system related tabs, he wants to access the some data he want to access, some data he wants to access in the system here. Then data, so you can related object or schema or related table, whatever you want, you can assign it here. Suppose like we have the SAP training, we have yesterday. Yeah, sorry guys. So object privileges means SQL privileges. Suppose like you don't want to access any tabs. I want some table data. I want to view it. I want to insert some table records. I want to do some deletion. I want to delete some drop, something like that. Then in that case, you can assign the object privileges. You can assign it here so that we can able to access the some objects data. You can able to access the some objects data, some objects data you can able to grab it here. Objects data you can able to grab it here. Suppose, so suppose you want to assign some training table. Suppose like jet training, right? Jet training, there is a table yesterday we created. So I want give this access to the one of the basis user. Then you can assign this jet training. So there are the multiple places. So this table data you can assign to the user. So only basis user can able to access the this jet training related data. You can access it. Jet training table data you can access. So object privileges means table level. If you want to assign something, you can use the jet privileges. So what you want to do, you want only select statement here, right? Then select it, click on the OK button. Then the the privileges are assigned to the user. So now basis user, he can access some administration tabs, system privileges. Also he can able to view the, only you can able to select the this table records. Suppose if you want to update, then you can update. If you want to delete. So these records also we have to update, we have to check mark, right? So this way user can access the related table data, he can access it in the system, right? That is called the object privileges. So here we have the analytical privileges, which means
Sorry, sir. Uh, just having one doubt. Using basis user only, we are providing access to the basis user. Is
no
it
no no
possible?
no system user. See, I logged into the system user.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice here. I was just seeing like
Same
on the
user we
top
cannot,
it is.
yeah,
Ah, that's
grantor.
what I was
uh,
thinking.
yeah.
And above to that one, it is showing basis. So got
Yeah.
it out in my mind. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
for,
problem.
yeah.
So one more thing, the right question you asked. Thank you. So one question is here, one more thing is here, grantee, grantor. Suppose like I am granting the roles, so both should not be the same. Means you need to log into the different user, you have to assign permissions to the so different users here. Means grantor, grantee, both are not the same, right? So you are the grantor, granting, you are granting the permission to roles to the other user. So both should not be the same user here. That is the one thing you take a note on that one here. Otherwise it will tell you like you are the grantor and grantee should not be the case, like that it will give the error message. Nothing will happen, it will give you the error messages. That's it. Okay. So then object privileges are done, but analytical privileges are used to read access the data in the, suppose yesterday we created the this one content privileges. Normally our developers will develop the some content data, some information, some packages, some attributes, some calculation views. They will develop it here. Some views, something they will develop. Our functional developers. So you need that you need to access that one. Then you need to go to the analytical privileges. Then click on the plus symbol. Check what is the package they have created. That package you can assign to yourself so that you can able to access that package. You can able to access that package. You can able to access it in the systems. That's we can do it here. So that is the analytical packages. If anything, that will be displayed here. So package and privileges means the package privileges are used to provide the authorizations for actions, individual packages, individual, not only analytical privileges, packages. So this all will be developed by our developers. Suppose some package, the developers will develop some packages. You need access to that package to, or another developer is required access to that package to do some changes. That time you need to assign that package to the here. Then you can able to access that package. Someone created some object. So I want access means you cannot access. You should have authorizations to access that privileges. Sir, all are in one system, right? Why can't I access? You cannot access. If you are the super admin, you are the system user, you can access, but individual users you cannot access. So you should have the package and the privileges are required here. Package and privileges are required here, right? So that is the package and privileges here. Then application privileges. Application privileges are required to some access applications. Normally, mainly in HANA database, people will do the access related some applications, some mobility applications. They will develop it. Develop means our developers will do the development. So you need access to that applications. Then you need to have this one. You need access to the packages which are developed by developers. You need to have the package privileges. You need to analytical privileges. They will do that one here. Package and privileges. So which user having that privileges, you can just having the package and privileges users, you can do that one. So these are the authentication methods are there in the SAP system here, right? Authentication methods are there. So you can assign it. You can directly assign the privileges to the user, or you can also create the role. One role you can create it. Then one role you can create it. You can assign that role to the user, right? So whenever in the SAP security or whenever, yeah, the roles creation, we have to do that one. Otherwise, directly you can assign the privileges to the user, right? Directly we can assign this authorization, system authorizations or authorizations to the user. Or what we can do, directly you can assign to the user. Or we can via role also we can assign to the user here. Role means we have to create some roles here. Some roles we have to create it here. Some roles already in the system, there the multiple roles are available by default. So you will get, if you want to assign that roles, we can assign it. You don't want to assign this monitoring role, modeling role, all these roles. So you want to create new one, right click and create the new role. So in the new role, you can create the new role. This role you can assign to the hundreds of users. You can assign it. Suppose like Z base is monitoring user. Monitoring user. For this user, what is required? For this user, what you want to access? Only monitoring, right? There is a monitoring admin privileges. What type of object? So only monitoring, then monitoring related. So Z base is monitoring. So then monitoring role, and in that role you assigned the authorization. You assigned the authorizations like monitor admin you assigned. So now instead of directly for every user, instead of directly assigning the authorizations, you can create the one role, assign the authorizations to that role, then assign this role to the user. Assign this role to the user, he can able to access whatever you want. So which means you can directly assign the privileges to the user, or you can via role also you can assign it here. Via role also you can assign it. So you created the one role, right? So you can created the one role here. So one role you created here, right? One role, not this one, generated roles. You created the one role here. So suppose like Z underscore basis, Z underscore basis role you created. So this role you created. Then instead of assigning for every user system role, just assign the role to the user. Then whatever this role having the permission, right? We can able to access all those things. We can able to access the all the data. We can able to access the all the data in the system, right? So we can able to access the data, right? Instead of assigning the system privileges, object privileges, analytical privileges directly assigning the privileges to the user, or via role also we can assign it. In that case, you need to create the roles here, multiple roles, basis roles, developer roles, a finance roles you can create it. Then assign, while creating the role, assign the respective privileges to the role, right? Then those you can assign to the role. That role you can assign to the hundreds of users, so that so if you want, if you do some changes in the role, the changes will happen to the all the roles here. But if you assign this directly privileges to the user, so then each and every user, hundreds of user, you need to assign all those things here. This will be difficult. So via role also you can assign the privileges. Then so these things we can perform it in the systems, right?
Sorry for interrupting. Right side it is showing like grantable to other users and roles. Like what is the use of that option?
Which one? Grantable.
To other users.
Okay. So you want to, so okay, this user, basis user, you want to grant this to the other users, means basis user. Now you logged into the system user, you are granting to the basis user, right? You are granting to the basis user, granting to the grantable to the other user. But now you want to log into the system basis user, you can assign to the Ravi user. So you want to do then grantable for other users and roles as well. Grantable for other users and roles also we can assign it here. That is the concept here. Grantable base. So whether this user is authorized to grant these roles to the other users, or only you are the administrator, we can assign to the this one. Like that, this is a grantable to other users and roles, like that it will be displayed. But it's not a matter. Just you can ignore it. Just only uh, you can assign directly to the user. This is not much required. In case of you are creating the security user, that user has to grant to the other users, then you can assign to the grantable to other users as well. Like that, you can do that one. That is also possible here. So this is the way we can create the roles in the systems, and these roles we can assign to the user, so that whatever the user you created, he can able to access the data. But by default, system user is there during the installation time. He has super user access, so he can access everything. But in the real time, you will not able to access everything here. Why? Because you are the basis, you are the technical, only administrator access you can get. But if you want to do some developments, you will not get able to access. Why? Because you are not the developers. You are not the developer person. That is the reason. So that is the reason. Normally, so everybody will get the basis team, basis people, everybody will get the access to the base system user. Why? Because we are the super administrator, we will get the access. If we want, we will also get the access to the developers and security guys, we will take care. Why? Because normally, so only technical people require the access to the this basis, this database. No other users or nothing required. Only technical people, means as a we or developers will require the access to the database. Why? Because if you provide the business users to provide database, then what business user will do? We don't know anything about. He knows only application. He knows only how to book the tickets and transactions. He knows only those things. But why you don't require the access to the SQL server, SQL database, all those things you don't require, right? Only whatever we develop, only that applications you can use it here. Okay, that is the so here also you can see the some of the security features also available here. Some of the security features are available here. So the security features means here some security policies here, some audit logs. So these are the some important things here, security features and audit logs here. Suppose so I want to change my password length, my database password length 8 characters to the 9 characters. Or suppose like I want to number of 6 times number of failed logon attempts. 6 times user got locked, then seventh time it will be 6 times he is entered the wrong password, seventh time he will be locked. Right? So suppose the user is locked, the system user is locked here, locked, then after 60 minutes or 24 hours, you should be able to unlock it. Automatically system can unlock it here. That kind of changes. Right? Password lifetime. How many special characters? How many days? What are the uppercase letters? Minimum lifetime. All those settings, password related special characters you want to maintain. All those things we can maintain it here. Right? Suppose you see user lock. The 60 minutes means 1 hour. If the 1 hour user is locked, the system user automatically after 1 hour that will be unlocked. Like that settings I have done it here, right? So password, minimum password, maximum password lifetime, initial password set, the ideal lifetime for the initial password. Some people sometimes what happen, you will create the user, you will set the password, the user will not log into the 7 days, then after 7 days user will be again you need to he will be the password is expired, right? You need to do so this kind of settings we can do it in the password policy. Also, the password blacklist. Some people, they're the guessable password. They will put the guessable password, something like India. So something like that, welcome. So something like different guessable passwords, they will keep it for the database. So we can restrict those passwords. Suppose if anyone setting like, so 123, something like that, or ABCD, something like that, if anyone setting that password, so that case sensitive, then immediately system will reject that connection. Why? Because you done the blacklisted password. Someone in the password, suppose like Ravi ABCD at gmail.com at 123 at 345, something like that, they will keep it. ABCD is coming, consecutive numbers. So we should not accept the consecutive numbers here. For some 3 or 4 consecutive numbers, we should not accept here, right? So then, so we can keep that one, we can restrict that passwords, right? Suppose especially for the banking sector, in the suppose like you are resetting the banking password, you may face a lot of password policies and you need to carefully set uppercase, lowercase letter, minimum 10 characters or 12 characters you need to set because it's a date banking sector level password you are changing. So they will their policies are different. Banking sector passwords are different here. Right? So where can we set means here in the password policies, we can set all those things here. Right? So this is a SAML provider, it's not required. Then so auditing. Suppose sir, you done the changes here. Sir, you done the changes here. But where can I see the logs? Who done the changes? What? So I need to know all the information here. Then go to the here. Then you can enable the audit logs. Then create the audit policy. Like so changes in the system. Anyone done the changes? What changes here? Is done any all the actions. Suppose like he delete done the all the access. So then what the audit level? Something like warning all the users. So specify the users here. So which user you want to track it here. So exclude. So which user you want to type it here. Which you want to include it. Which user you don't want to exclude the users from the policy here. So except system user exclude list. I want every user information should track. Every user information should be reported in the database table level. So you have enabled the audit policies, which means now you people will log into the database level. He will do the some changes, but we know only you done the changes. No one don't know about this one. Then you will be quiet for some time. Then immediately during the auditing, they will find out you done the some changes here. They will ask you for the reason. So then we have to provide the reason justification related. If you don't provide it, you will be fired from the company, right? Auditing will happen for every company. How the auditors will audit it because of these policies. They will securely, they will provide the audit policies here, especially for the banking sector. Audit policies are very, very, very important, especially for the banking sector. Audit policies are important here. Audit policies are very important. Why? Because every year the audit will run. So then only they will come to know these logs will be stored into the this logs, auditing logs will be stored into the diagnosis files. So they can see the logs and everything. But these logs will be stored, then they can action all the logs, who doing the deletion, who doing the update command. So then all the information they will track it. Something is mismatching, they will find out who done what, then they will take the respective action. So that's why auditings are very auditing policies we can enable it, right? Password policy. Then data volume encryption of the data volume and log volumes here. Encryption of the data volumes and log volumes here. Data volume means, so all the data which is coming from main memory to data folder level, if save point interval, it will go to the data folder level. So same passwords also will be stored into the data folder level, right? If someone hack your operating system, whether he can able to see the data of the passwords, right? So no, you don't want to do you want to encrypt the data value, say secure passwords, then you can also encrypt those data values. So data volume encryptions also we can perform it. So all the possibilities we have encrypting or we are disabling here. Why? Because this is the one of the secure database, all the finance information is storing. So SAP not only providing the to store the data, they are providing the more security features to protecting the data of yours. So we all are our accounts, our bank accounts, account numbers, our account data, money, amount, everything. So everything we are storing into the in the public sector, one of the banking reputed bank we are storing. If they don't have the strong passwords, if they don't have the strong security features, then what will happen? Someone will theft your data, someone will hack your accounts, they will do something like that, right? So that's the reason. So to avoid this kind of things, why? Because you are resetting the password means your password also will be stored into the database level only, but you want to encrypt that one. Humans don't want to see that one. Then you can encrypt that one. We can also encrypt it by using this encryption mechanisms and latest features. Encryption mechanism, we can encrypt the data value and the log values, we can encrypt it. Data volume and log volumes, we can encrypt it in the systems, right? This is the so values. So these are the some password policies important. Tomorrow your manager ask you, if put the strong minimum password length 10 characters, it should be combination of the numeric uppercase special characters as well. There should be one special characters also. So and also they should not use the last 5 used passwords, last 2 passwords. They should not use the last 2, last 3, last 5 same password. They should not reset. They want to use the different one. In that case, we can set these values and we can save it. Then that will be created, right? That will be created here. In this way, we will come to know how many users are logged into the system and what the users they are connected and what they are doing. All the based upon, if you log into the individual user, then we can track it, who is doing what and what this guy is done, why this person is deleted data. So we will come to know all the information here, right? So if you have all are using the system user nowadays, all people are using the system user, then all users are using the system data. Then what will happen? System user, if you delete or I delete, then we cannot find out, right? If you delete or I delete, we cannot find out who deleted what and everything, right? So that's the reason. So that's the reason here. we database has the some security features. Everybody has to log in their individual IDs and you have to complete your work. Other than your work, if you do something, then that will be tracked by auditing policies. Then finally you need to give the so information, you need to provide the value why you have done that kind of things and everything to the company. If something goes wrong, they will legally, so because of you, because of your changes, they lost something means, so they will take the respective actions. So that's the reason. Because why? Because all the finance data storing into the database level, passwords, everything, even though we need to secure it. So that's the reason security is very important for the companies. Okay, that's the security related thing here. Okay, so for now you can use the system user individually, can log in, create your own user, right? Individually can log in, create your user, then all people can log in with the your own user. Instead of system user, you can log in with your own user. Then it will be, we can find out who is logging to the system and all the information we can track it here. All the information we can track it in the here in the system user. You will be find, you will be, we can find out here who is logging, what they are doing, actual system load operations and everything. We can find out in the sessions tab and threads tab. We can find out here, right? So that type of things we can do it in the system.
Sir, sorry for it. One doubt here, like in the SAP level, for suppose we are doing something and we are not having proper authorization,